All right, so far we've done slope-intercept form, which I'm writing in the green, y equals mx plus b. And we've also done point-slope form, y equals m times x minus x1 plus y1. And now we have another thing called standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. So this is totally different. We're not using m for slope anymore. And, there's really no y-intercept or point here that we plug in. It's kind of goofy. And this says, where a is greater than 0 and a, b are not both. But you just wouldn't be able to write it in standard form if that was the case. But just know that a, b, and c are going to be integers. That's important. They have to be integers. So basically no decimals or fractions. So this is the one case that we don't want fractions, right? We usually want a fraction for a slope. Well, with our standard form, let's talk about why it's useful. So if I get something in this case right here, and there's lots of things I could do. I could write it in slope-intercept form. So let's say I wanted to do that, just so we have it. So I'm going to put that over here. What would I do? I'd have to divide both sides by 4. So I'd have y equals, that'd be gone, and this would become 2/4 x, or which simplifies to 1/2, plus 3/4. Okay, so I could do that. That'd be fine. Well, let's take a look at this once. Let's say I wanted it in standard form. Well, I'd have to get the x and y on the same side, and then get that c, or the constant, the lone number by itself. So in this case, lots of things I could do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to subtract the 3 to the other side. So then I'd have 2x equals 4y minus 3, and then subtract my 4y back over here. So then I have 2x minus 4y equals -3. So there we go. A, b, and c are all integers. It looks like my a equals 2, my b equals -4, and my c equals -3. Probably the main thing for this is that we can tell the x-intercept and the y-intercept the easiest in this case. Obviously, the y-intercept is super easy in slope-intercept form because it's given in there. But I can calculate it the quickest with this. And I'll show you why in a second. Well, if I wanted to find the x-intercept, what would I plug in for y? I would put in 0 for y, right? So if I use my form down here and plug in 0 for y, I'd have 2x minus 0, right, because that'd be 0, equals -3. So what would the x-intercept be? It would be -3 over 2, right? I'm just taking, well, really, what did I do? I just put the c over the a to find the x-intercept. I'm going to write that. I really just took the c and put it over the a to find the x-intercept. Basically, the number by itself and the number in front of the x. I just put the c over the a. Well, what do you think it would be to find the y-intercept? Would be the same thing. We put c, but then we would put it over what? The b. Let's test it. So if that's the case, I'm thinking it's going to be c over b. So it would be really what? -3 over -4. Let's try it. So is it going to be -3 over -4? Which is really positive 3/4. Well, to find the y-intercept, that's when x is 0. So let's try it. So if that's 0, now 2 times 0 is 0. So I'd have -4y equals -3, and divide by -4. There we go. That worked out, right? So the y-intercept is 3/4. The x-intercept is -3 over 2. And we could do it really quickly by just knowing that. I just take c over a for the x-intercept and c over b for the y-intercept. Could I also do the slope? Is there something I could do for the slope? Well, let's look at this over here. Our slope is 1/2. Well, if I had my equation down here, I would first have to subtract the 2x over. So really I have the opposite sign of a. I have like a -a. And then I end up dividing by a -4, right? Because I'd have -4y equals -2x minus 3. And then I'd have to divide by -4. So really I just took the opposite of a and put it over what? B. So it's really -a over b in order to find the slope. So that's our tricks. For the y-intercept, we just put c over b. We take the number that's by itself, put it over the number in front of the y. If I want the x-intercept, I take the number that's by itself and put it over the number in front of the x, c over a. And if I wanted the slope, I just negate it and I put the a over the b. Let's practice that once. Okay, so write those down. That's super important. So let's practice. I have it written in standard form on the left and slope-intercept form on the right. So standard form and then slope-intercept over on the right here. So with standard form, let's go ahead and let's find the x-intercept. That would be, what do? We put the c over the a, the number in front of the x. So I just put 12 over 4. So the x-intercept would equal 3 over 1, which is 3. So 3. And that's really the coordinate what? 3, 0, right? The y-intercept, or the x-intercept is when y is 0. What about the y-intercept? How can I find that really easily? Well, take the c and put it over the b, right? Because it's ax plus by equals c. Well, what is the c? It's 12, and we put that over the b, which is negative 3. So our y-intercept is really negative 4, which is the point 0, negative 4. And what would the slope be? The slope would be, well, now we just put the a over the b, and we take the opposite case. So I put the a, which is 4, over the b, which is negative 3, and then I take the opposite of that. Well, now we got two negatives. That's really a positive. That gets kind of nasty. So it might be helpful to just, give this negative to one or the other. So I'm going to just give it to the a. So I could say negative 4 over negative 3, which is really 4/3. So that's kind of the trickiest one, is that slope. And if I look over here, what could I find really easily on the slope-intercept? I could find that 4/3 is the slope. I could find that negative 4 is the y-intercept. Okay, what about the x-intercept? Well, then I'd have to plug in 0 for y, and I'd have to solve an equation. So that's where it gets kind of messy, right? Whereas standard form, it's nice and easy. So here's where we're going to work on our table in class. We're going to get some different information, and we're going to be able to write standard form, slope-intercept form, and then the slope, y-intercept, and x-intercept. And I did the first one for you. So for standard form, if I'm going to y-intercept form, I just have to solve for y, which we've done a lot of practice with that. So in this case, we ended up with what? Y equals 4/3 x minus 4, I believe. And then the slope was 4/3. And the y-intercept we found to be negative 4, and the x-intercept was 3. Okay, so I can do the same thing for number 2. Well, what if I have other things? For example, number 3. Well, I know the slope is 1/3, and I know the y-intercept is negative 7. Would that help me? Could I be able to tell what like the a and the b are? Well, remember, for slope, in standard form, it's negative a over b. For y-intercept, it's c over b. And for x-intercept, it's c over a. So there's going to be lots of ways to find the standard form and the x-intercept, but I want you to see if you can come up with them on their own, and I'll help you out as we go. Okay, because you could go either way. You could find the x-intercept first, or you could go to standard form first. And we'll talk through these together.